Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, co-author of Conversations with Top Real Estate Investors Volume 3, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira coming to you live. I have my friend Sylvania Harrod. Hi,
What's
Sylvania.
up?
How are you?
How are you, Munira? I'm doing good.
Wonderful. Thank you. We finally connected due to technical difficulties, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I love about technology is that sometimes it wants to work for you, sometimes it doesn't. But either way, as long as it allows us to connect in the end, that's what really matters.
And that's what we want to talk about. Is Sylvania is a veteran, and he is my friend. He is a loving father of 3 beautiful girls. And thank you for your service, my friend.
Oh, you're welcome.
And he's an entrepreneur, and he's a coach, he's a mentor, and he's a good friend of mine. I'm going to say that twice. The reason for people in business, you are in for a treat because this is something you want to learn and you want to figure out how to connect with Sylvania because, in business, you are always looking for deals. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank people that have tuned in. I want to say thank you. And, thank you for being here so that you can share this segment with us. One of the things that I want to tell you about myself is I am Munira Zahabi and I am the niche navigator. I help coaches and business entrepreneurs figure out their niche and markets to it. And, a niche is very important because that helps you focus. It's a laser focus for now what you're going to do. And because now that you figured out what you're going to do, you will need lots of tools. So I'm going to have Sylvania talk to you about the entrepreneur deals and discounts, and he is talking about leverage. So hi, Sylvania. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, other things that I haven't said.
Perfect. So I think the biggest thing for me is that I'm just a huge fan of people. And I think the interesting thing that comes with that is with anything that you're passionate about, you take the good and the bad that happens to be there. And I think that when it came down to those things, no matter what ended up happening over time, the thing I always enjoyed was the fact that seeing the good that happens to be in humanity and watching that expand and grow. And so when we really think about why I love connecting with people and why I love growing those relationships and fostering community, it comes back to like that desire that I've had as a kid is just like, I'm insatiably curious about people. I'm insatiably curious of why people take certain actions over time. And that has just transpired into the best way to share that kind of curiosity was through entrepreneurship.
Okay, so how did you figure this out?
It's kind of funny. Like I get asked all the time about how does one define and figure out like what their calling and kind of what their purpose happens to be there. And I said, the easiest way to find it is to get out of your head and rather go into your heart. So one of the exercises I natively started doing, and I suggest anybody else that's looking to find like, what is that thing for me, is go ahead for the next 30 days. And for the next 30 days, every time you feel it feels like your heart just expands and you lose yourself in the moment, write that down. Like, just go ahead, grab your phone. We all have smartphones nowadays where we can go on there and just write down notes and those kind of things. Just write those things down. And then what you want to begin to do is that you'll notice it's not as random as you believe it to be. I believe it's actually consistent. You'll see a consistent pattern that happens to be there. And in the entrepreneurship world, because we're marketed so much, people are like, well, I need to figure out a way to monetize it. And I don't believe in that at all. I'm like, monetization is a tactic, but that's towards the end of the equation, not the beginning of the equation. Because if you can truly figure out exactly the things that work for you and exactly the way where you lose yourself, you may be able to do that more than you think it is. And then natively after that, you'll find the exact route that you were able to take it. So it's a long way of saying, one of the things I've always loved doing is building community together, because I really believe that when we go as one, you're only so effective. When you go as many, you're able to make impact. And so one of the things I noticed from my corporate sales career was that customers that had larger employee counts got different volume pricing versus people who came and maybe they had one or two employees.
True.
And so when I looked at it, I said, okay, I think the biggest thing that can make impact in the world is entrepreneurship. When the people ask me, like, how do you think you can change the world and be able to do it? Yeah, we can go with, like, I change myself, but more importantly, I create opportunities that seem possible. And that's why I love entrepreneurship. But if we look at that piece, a lot of times entrepreneurship feels like you're on this island by yourself, where it's just you and you're in your idea and you're in your own head and you're in your own thoughts. And I sat down and I thought, like, if this thing is such a beautiful thing, why don't I take all the experience that God has brought me through to this point and realize all these different puzzle pieces line up to, what if I could take the thing I love, which is entrepreneurship, and match it up with the skill that I've already developed over the last 10 plus years. And somebody had a conversation with me randomly and said, hey, see if you can be able to do this. I was like, yeah, I probably can. And then I just did it. And then the people came like, oh, you did this, see if you can do this too. And that has begun to spiral and build momentum and build things over time. Because to me, it's never been about monetization. It's been about community.
Okay. I love that, because I'm part of that community. You call it LVRG, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. I love that community. So tell us how you created this community, and what if people want to join, what can they get out of it?
Cool. Great question. So Leverage stands for the Leaders Value Added Resource Group. One of the beautiful things I've seen in my professional career was these things called associations. And associations have this amazing power to bring resources together for a community. And when I looked at kind of the online entrepreneur type world, I wasn't necessarily seeing anything that happened to be there. So as Munira always talks about in navigating your niche, it's not a straight path necessarily. It's more of like you're going downstream and you're hitting different moments and you're hitting different currents. And so if a person wanted to join, here's some of the things you'd be able to get. You'd be able to get volume discount pricing, like corporate pricing on the tools you use every single day, like what we're on right now, Zoom, or you talk about emails that you're sending to people, automation processes, sales pages, funnels, courses that you're investing in. Because there's 2,300 of us and growing, we're able to take that and leverage that to be able to go ahead and get these volume discounts and deals. And so if a person wanted to join, all they have to do is go to lvrg.info. Go there, you'll be able to go to the page. And the other portion that I wanted to make sure that people understood was about, like, this wasn't necessarily about, hey, I want to go ahead and make a ton of money. It was more about meaning. And so one of the things I also looked at was, what if by serving people and helping save them money every single day, I was able to impact people around the world?
Okay.
And what we've done is we've taken a percentage of every single profit that we make, and we ensure that we feed people around the world. Because saving money is more than just be like, hey, I got this deal. That frees up revenue and profits that you can use for other things in your life. Maybe it's feeding your business and you need to bring somebody on board to help you scale. Maybe it's feeding your family because you're like, hey, I got better profit margins, so now I can go ahead and I can do things. I can pay my rent. I can keep light over. And every time I'm feeding people. Because on the other side, we've partnered up with feedabillion.org. And what we've been able to do is feed just shy of 60,000 people, Munira.
Oh, wow.
And every month it just grows and grows and grows and grows to the point where I even made the decision, like, I want to feed 1 million people a year. And then once I do it in a year, I want to see if I can do it in a month. And then just keep growing to a point where maybe we feed 1 billion people.
You know, what you are doing is just awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm having internet issues.
Yep, it's all good. You gotta love tech. I said you gotta love technology when it wants to work for you.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Come here, baby. Come here. Let me give you a kiss.
That happened at 4 o'clock in the evening.
It hurts, baby. Yeah. See, here's the beautiful thing about kids. Michaela hurt you? Okay, I'll talk to Michaela when I get out of here, okay? And so I have my little partner in crime right here. You can probably see her a little bit.
Yes, there you are. Hi, cutie pie. Okay, so you were in corporate. This idea came to mind. You started getting people discounts.
Yes.
Everybody who joins this group has a fee that they pay. How often do they pay? Is it a one-time fee or is it an annual fee?
It's an annual fee. So the thing I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that we were covering kind of the operating costs that needed to be there and build it in, because I know that there's going to be 50,000 people in there in the next 18 months. So with that, I'm like, okay, there's going to be different tools that we're going to need. There's going to be different staff members we're going to need there without breaking the bank. So I actually just asked the group. I said, guys, where do you think we should price this? And people came back and said, you know what? $27 a year seems like a good idea. I was like, all right, cool. It's basically $2 a month. And you're able to actively do that.
Okay, so people join $27 a month. You've partnered up with Feed the Billion. Do you have, do you have do they send you a tally of how many people were fed?
Yes. Yes, they do. So every time we make the contribution on a monthly basis, they share that back with us.
Okay. So, and that's a very noble cause, because if people want to donate, they can just donate it through you and then it can go over. I don't know if you get a tax return on that, something you have to talk to your financial advisor on. But you know what? It's a very noble cause because there's a lot of hungry people out there.
Yeah. I mean, and when I think about feeding people, I don't think about it just from a level of like, hey, let's go put food on the table. I think about like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and where people are just fed. So not only are we looking to feed people physically, but in our community, I'm looking to feed them. I'm looking to figure out what are the things they're hungering for. And so like one of the things that people were asking is like, as working in a corporation, you get used to certain perks, like the discount you may get on hotels, maybe a discount you get on your cell phone plan, maybe it's the benefits you end up receiving. And so I've casted a large vision of like, what if I can create a platform that allows you, if you're sitting in your corporate job and you're sitting there and you're saying, you know what, I have a desire to do this full time, but yet here are the obstacles that are in my way. What if there was one place you could go to that would be able to remove all those obstacles and would enable you just to go out and live your vision?
I love that vision.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be first on your list.
Yes. I mean, so I think that's the thing that people are asking. They're like, you know what? I want to learn about training. I want to learn about benefits. I want to learn about all these different kind of things. And if we have that one go-to place you can go to, and it's all listed here, and here are all the things we're able to do because we've been able to negotiate this, because we have volume purchasing power, then you can just go out and live your vision and nothing is in your way. And that's what freedom feels like.
Yeah, that, what you're doing is awesome because it's really helping out people. It's helping out their hunger, and it's making them aware, especially people, entrepreneurs like me who are, now I have to buy one more software, really?
Yeah.
So if you get a discount, that becomes, that not only elevates your high blood pressure, but it does right the opposite.
Yeah.
It gives you a peace of mind is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And that is the experience that I look for people to wake up every single day. I look at it as a space of empowerment.
And so one of the things that I want to say is you don't have to purchase, you don't have to opt in for anything that you're offering. You have the information. If you want it on, if you want in on a deal, then all you have to do is say, I'm in, right? That's all.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. Like I look at it as the way that I look at it is from like conscious capitalism or wherever you want to look at it is that give you the information, let you choose. If you go and say, you know what, that deal doesn't really work for me, that's fine. Let's say, but if you want to have access to the information, I would just join the group Entrepreneur Deals and Discounts, or you can go to www.entrepreneurdeals.co and it will take you directly to the group. And what it allows you to do is you just go, cool, let me find out what happens to be in there. Because the other thing we're doing on a consistent, at least 2 to 3 times a week, is we're doing these interviews called the 6-figure roadmap. And what we're doing is we're finding six-figure plus entrepreneurs where they give you the exact strategies of what they would do if they had to go rebuild what they've done in 6 months. They had 6 months to go rebuild what they've already built. What is the ways that they would do it? You can actively ask questions because, like I said, I'm about feeding people and making sure that they understand, here's what it really is. Screw all the noise, pay attention and execute.
So this is your niche, right?
Yes.
I know you work for corporate America, but you also have this as a passion and this is your niche.
Mm-hmm.
So where did this niche germinate from?
So this niche actually came from a subset of customers I was working with for a little over 3 years. So remember how I was saying, like, you have this desire in your heart, but a lot of times you don't realize your experience is already lined up to help you get there. And because hindsight is 20/20, you can't see it as you're going through those different things. And you may look at it, it may seem irrelevant, but it's just like if you jumped into a movie and you only saw 30 seconds of it, you're not going to know what the entire movie's about. And where it came from was I worked with associations for a little over 3 years. And so I live in the largest association capital in the world. There's nothing more than in the Washington, D.C. area than associations. So I spent time around them. I understood their process. I understood what's going on because obviously in order to best serve them, I need to know what they do and how their business runs and all those different things. And as I was doing that, I went in and realized that, oh, this seems like a really interesting model. And then after I saw that model, I went to, which I would say for anybody really looking for their niche, think about people you would like to hang out with. Because what fun is it to work every single day with a group of people or a category of people you don't really want to hang out with?
Sure.
I look at people like, who are my people? The people that are the creatives, the people that go ahead and say, you know what, I think outside the box and I just had this ability. And now I just love freedom. Like that's the people I like hanging out with, or the people that just love freedom and love creating new things and new possibilities and people that just love people. So that's where it came from.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So where do you go from here? I mean, you've talked about healthcare benefits, you've talked about dental care, you've talked about cell phone bills. These are just regular stuff. Have you looked at internet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Xfinity is the king right now. So
yeah.
I mean, we are all paying a penny, right? TV is big because everybody wants entertainment in their life. So the sky is the limit.
Mm-hmm.
How many people can join your group? You have a Facebook group. Can we just invite people into it?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, anybody can come to, you can type in Entrepreneur Deals and Discounts. If you're watching this on live, we'll drop a comment below to give you a link directly to it. But when I see the vision 10, 20 years from now, Munira, honestly, it's grander than I can even comprehend. I think about it it's like David and Goliath, like just being a good shepherd and being there consistently. And I can see it as this would be the AARP. You know how AARP is for seniors?
50
or
plus.
you have the NRA that happens to be for those who like guns. I see leverage as being that for entrepreneurship.
That, you just took out the words from my mouth, because I was going to say, is this like an AARP?
Absolutely. Take AARP plus Costco, and that's where I see it being. And I see us fostering and building these entrepreneur hubs where people want to come and want to socialize and have these little networking events for those that maybe they're still in career. Maybe they're not. And I see me being the AARP of the online entrepreneurship world.
Well, that's awesome. There you go, folks. You'd have it. Here's my friend Sylvania, who has this dream and he's making this reality. I am one of his people in his group, and I have found a few discounts. I don't opt into everything because I don't understand half of the things. So on the sidelines, then I ask questions, but I know Zoom is one of them. Yeah. I like Zoom. And then the other one was, there's so many deals that come up. It's like hard to keep in track, but all of the techies out there, if you're paying too much for everything, you want to just look into these deals and see how, if you're saving a pretty penny, why not? Mm-hmm. Because what did my father say? A penny saved is a penny earned.
Yeah. Every day, and it adds up and gets interest over time. So I'll take it any day of the week.
There you go. Thank you. So for those of you watching, I know Donna is watching, Steve Finch, Rick Kiola, Gentry is watching, R.D. Durden, Mirella, Mufaddo, all of you watching. Thank you so much for being on my show. I really appreciate it. And go ahead and share this, because the bigger this group is, we are going to help a lot of people. Yeah. And I appreciate Sylvania. I'm honored and humbled for him to be on this show.
Well, thank you. And I truly appreciate you. So everybody watching this, have fun today. Appreciate today. And as I always say, stay grateful, my friends. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group called Navigate to Your Niche.